What type of hummingbird is this? Well, if this is Minnesota, it's easy. It's the ruby-throated hummingbird, the only hummingbird found in Minnesota. In Maine, same answer. In Louisiana, same answer. In Florida, same answer. In New York, same answer. There is only one species of hummingbird known in the eastern half of the United States, the ruby-throated hummingbird. The western part of the United States has more. There are 15 species of hummingbird which live in the United States, and a few more species which may migrate in from Mexico and Central America. With that introduction, I would like to say a few words about the biodiversity of Ecuador, which I had the great pleasure to visit recently. Ecuador is about the size of the state of Colorado, but about 40% of the world's hummingbirds can be found here. There are a lot of hummingbirds in the world, over 360 species, and hummingbirds are one of the 10 groups of birds which have more than 300 species in their family. So hummingbirds are rather speciose as a family, and Ecuador is the capital in the world. No other country has more species of hummingbird found there. So let me try to illustrate it with this example. Let's say you visit Ecuador doing some ecotourism. You land in Quito, the capital up in the Andes Mountains, and you're going to make a 3-hour car journey to an ecological preserve in the northwest known as Mashpi. It's really not that far, but some of the roads towards the end are not the best, and so therefore it takes a little longer than it otherwise would. So along your 3-hour ride, as you're leaving the Andes Mountains, let's say that you decide you need a rest stop, and so you pull over to the side of the road, and a number of the sites here have in addition, they have bathrooms, they have, you can get a drink or a little snack to eat, but they also advertise that they have hummingbird feeders, which they permanently have set out, and they put out fruits, and so therefore you could sit at a table in the back and just kind of enjoy your little rest stop and look at some hummingbirds while you wait. Here are pictures of at least 9 species of hummingbird that I was able to see just from the table area at a rest stop. Behind the rest stop was some forest, and Andes Mountains were behind us. And when I say about 9 species, I think it was a bit more, but I am not an expert by any means on Ecuadorian hummingbirds, and there can be differences in plumage between males and females, and so there were at least 9 species which I saw. Now, once again, the eastern half of the United States has 1. The islands of Hawaii have 0. And so just at this rest stop, I was able to see 9. That is an incredible diversity. After 3 hours, we arrived at a lodge in the Mashpi Preserve in the northwest of the country. It is in a cloud forest in the Choco rainforest, which is the second largest rainforest in South America after the Amazon. And one of the parts of the preserve that we visited for a short period of time was a place where they set up hummingbird feeders, and the hummingbirds obviously then know that they can get fed in this area, so much to the point that if you hold little cups of sugar water in your hand, then hummingbirds will come to your hand and feed there. While in this observation area at a couple of picnic tables, I was able to see at least 6 more species. And I say at least because at this site and the previous one, I think there was another species or 2 which I wasn't able to identify. So my point is, here, a very sedentary observation at 2 different sites in a very short period of time, I was able to observe at least as many hummingbird species as exist in the United States living there. This is just to emphasize the incredible diversity of hummingbirds and birds in general that exist in Ecuador. Obviously, I did not see all of Ecuador's hummingbirds. So, for example, there are over 130 species of hummingbird that can be observed in Ecuador. 130 species is incredible given that the United States is limited to 15. And this area of the Mashpee Preserve just this year has observed more than 40 species of hummingbird. And there are 5 hummingbirds which are endemic to this region, being found here and nowhere else in the world. I make this point because Earth's biodiversity is not evenly distributed. Some areas are more diverse than others. Some groups of organisms are concentrated in certain parts of the globe. And thus, when we consider conservation, some areas, if preserved, will preserve a far greater number of species than we would generally anticipate. And so hopefully this glimpse into the incredible diversity of hummingbirds in Ecuador, and specifically at this Mashpee Preserve in the northwest of the country, has illustrated that point.